Hello, my name's Jenny Earhart and this is my first year as Chief Finance Officer, presenting the work of our staff and colleagues during 2019-20. I'd like to start particularly by thanking my predecessor Adrian Roberts for his excellent stewardship and supportive leadership over many years here at MFT. I'll begin by outlining how MFT performed financially during 2019-20 and then update you on the outlook for 2020-21. I'll also describe the financial impact of the coronavirus pandemic on MFT's income and spending and how we're managing this. MFT is one of the largest trusts in England, with an income in the last financial year of over £1.8 billion. Over half of our income, around £818 million, comes from local and regional clinical commissioning groups, and this pays for services like maternity, community services like district nursing and accident and emergency services. 39%, around £676 million of our income, comes from NHS England, who pay for more complicated care such as heart transplants and the complicated care for people who have been in major accidents, as well as dentistry and screening services, among others. Over half, about 57% of our patients come from Manchester and Trafford, while nearly a third, 31%, come from elsewhere within Greater Manchester. The remaining 12% come from further afield, showing the range and reach of our specialist services across the region and nationally. Demand for our services continues to grow. Over the last 5 years, on average, referrals increased at 3.4% a year. Growth in elective, that's planned care, has averaged 2.5% a year, and the emergency care has grown by about 1.2% a year. Outpatients activity has grown by 2.8% a year. For the 2019-20 financial year, MFT had an income of £1.82 billion and expenditure of £1.81 billion. We had a surplus of £14.3 million before finance costs, which was about £700,000 better than we'd planned. We delivered £44 million of savings against a plan of £56.4 million during the year. Overall, we had a successful year financially, allowing us to continue to invest in our services. Our aim for 2019-20 was to achieve a use of resources rating of 2 from our regulator, NHS Improvement. This is on a scale where 1 is the best score achievable and 4 is the worst score. I'm pleased to say that we did achieve a rating of 2, which indicates we are managing MFT's financial resources prudently. We spent over £1 billion on our staff. We employ over 23,000 people who deliver excellent care across our hospital and community services. A further £197 million was spent on a wide range of supplies and services, while the cost of drugs was £170 million. We also spent over £60 million on research and innovation, which is a key part of our strategy. We also spent almost £83 million, including money from charitable donations, on capital schemes to improve the experience of our patients and staff. This included £47 million on buildings and facilities, investment of £17 million in new equipment and £18 million on information technology. Charitable donations make a significant difference by helping to fund care, treatment and research across MFT. Our thanks must go to individuals, families, community groups, companies, organisations and our own staff, by whose efforts almost £8.4 million was raised in 2019-20. It was spent on a wide range of equipment, facilities, patient and staff welfare, education and research. I'd now like to share with you the current financial position and what we anticipate will happen for the rest of 2020-21. In early March, the Board approved a financial plan for 2020-21, which delivers a forecast surplus of £2.6 million for this financial year, in line with the control total set for us by our regulator, NHS Improvement. However, given the current coronavirus pandemic, the NHS has a new finance regime for the first half of the financial year, under which every trust will break even. This has therefore overridden the trust's financial plan for at least the first 6 months of the year. The trust costs have gone up significantly due to opening up services, for example, expanding our intensive care units to treat patients with COVID-19. Whilst we did reduce our costs in other areas, for example due to reducing the amount of planned surgery we were doing, this did not offset the additional costs we had. MFT was also proud to host the North West Nightingale Hospital, and the costs relating to that facility were paid through our accounts. We've also supported other hospitals across Greater Manchester by buying PPE on their behalf. We have been refunded for all these costs in line with the finance regime, but it will mean that when I present our accounts this time next year, they will look very different to these figures for 2019-20. At the time we're filming this, there's not yet enough detail about how the NHS finances will work for the remainder of the financial year to be able to share that with you. But we are working very hard to make sure that our patients receive the care they need and that we catch up with some of the treatments that had to be postponed in the earlier months of the year. We have set up internal ways of working to make sure that we spend money wisely whilst delivering this much needed care. But we do anticipate that this recovery will cost more money than the first peak did. I'd like to end by saying a huge thank you to everyone at MFT for all their hard work, and particularly for the key role they have played in helping MFT to respond to the pandemic. I want to also say a big thank you to all colleagues in the finance, procurement and informatics teams who stepped up to the challenge, with many colleagues volunteering to change roles to ensure that our patients received the best care when they needed it. I'm very proud of what we've achieved together as Team MFT. Thank you for all your support.